No, we're just fixing the Facebook Live. We tried to go on YouTube Live, but that didn't really
Obviously,
work
can do it on the
out.
mobile. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to say one more thing and I forgot what it was.
It's okay. Maybe we'll say it in our talk, and you can always edit it afterwards.
Okay, or just join us. Maybe.
Yeah, join us now.
Join us. Okay. Now, start live.
Yep. Right. You want to put it there?
Wait. Alright, so now we're live.
I can do it. Oh yeah, great, you did it.
I did?
Yeah, you did. But I'm not there on the video.
Well, we have to both be there.
So I think it just has
Just
to move it.
a little bit.
Right, that's better. And you have to sit a little closer to each other.
Like this?
Yeah, no.
No.
Yeah, okay, no, you just move a little closer here to me.
Like this?
More towards me, I said.
Oh.
That's it. Now we're both there.
Is
Yeah.
anyone watching it?
I have no idea, but that's okay.
Okay, but we'll wait.
Yeah, we'll
just
wait a little
few
bit because
minutes.
we just started.
And I am having low sugar, so I'm just gonna eat some things like my last life.
Yeah, I just feel that this is a bit too
More
high.
like an eat with me video.
Yeah. That's better, I feel. Because the other one is sort of like a little... If you turn a little bit more towards me than sitting like away from me.
I know, it's just because I'm eating.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so we've actually started. Yeah, somebody's watching us already.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. We just thought we'll get a couple of minutes to get started and warm up a little bit. Yeah. Hello and good afternoon. No, it's good evening for us. It must be night for you.
Who is it?
Mohammed.
Oh.
Yeah. Today, actually, what are we going to talk about today?
We have, we want to talk about some tips.
Yeah, but before we do that, I think we should always talk about hi, girl. Today, no, it's Prashant who wrote "Go Girl Go." Yeah. Today, let's just tell a little bit about what this channel is about. We're going to post it later on
for
YouTube.
you who are on Facebook, watching from Facebook.
Yeah, those of you watching from Facebook.
We're also recording it for YouTube because we just recently, if you haven't gotten it, we have just recently started a YouTube channel, mother-daughter YouTube channel.
Yes, and it's called Different Shades of the Norm, and we've chosen this name very consciously because, you know, this is our normal, but it's kind of different. Oh, hi Kiran, again, lovely to see you. Ramya's here, yeah. So we are kind of like starting something new. We've decided that we're going to keep this very open and a little informal, but at the same time,
a little structured.
A little structured, and please feel free to ask us any questions that you want.
Or any comments.
Any comments,
opinions.
we would definitely get back to you and answer you afterwards. This is a place where we are talking about awareness, and we're not talking just on the side of, say, Ramya, who has a disability and who is also chronically ill, but also from the point of view of parents and the so-called inverted commas normal people. I just recently discovered that I am actually what you would consider a chronically ill person as well, because I have diabetes and I've had it for the last 22 years since she was born.
Just realized that maybe I should call myself chronically ill.
Exactly, and I have never thought of myself like that. So definitions and these kind of things, words and what they mean, you know, we want to discuss these issues as well.
And maybe why was it so hard for you to decide to call yourself
for example, and one day, one of the topics we will pick up why it was hard for me to even consider myself as a chronically ill person. I don't know why. when I think back, I just said, of course, I've had this diabetes for 22 years. I'm on insulin, and as much as I don't like it, and I constantly struggle with it.
Hmm.
Hi, Shivani. Please
Hi,
do.
hi.
Yeah,
I'm so
I would
happy
love
that you're
it.
here.
Yes, and one day I would love to have an interview with you, Shivani, because I know you've done psychology and you've completed. Congratulations. So that's really wonderful. And it's beautiful watching what you've done for your parents as well, I must just say.
And Shivani, by the way, is a beautiful dancer as well.
She's extremely beautiful
So check
dancer.
out. She has a YouTube channel too, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
She's really amazing. I love her expression and Bhavam and the technicality. Everything is perfect. Anyway, so to get back to today's topic, I think we should just get started on that. We're going to talk about how did we as a family manage, this chronic illnesses. Like I said, until now, I did not even consider myself chronically ill. But we always knew that Ramya was after she got her diagnosis in 2000 and I don't remember. 3, yeah, somewhere like that.
2004.
2004. Miss you too. So we have managed to be rather successful, I would say, as a family. During this period, going from just being chronically ill to disabilities that came along the way, like for example Ramya losing her eyesight amongst other things, and later on being an amputee, and how do we adjust our lives with it. And they may seem very generic and very easy to follow kind of things. And sometimes I would say that even though we've been practicing this for many, many years, we still do find it a challenge to follow these tips ourselves. Would you say that?
Definitely, we have periods where, especially some periods where it's extra hard.
Yeah.
And I always go through these periods where I feel a bit sad and overwhelmed and like everything is just too much. But then I try to remember these things that we're gonna go through now.
Yeah.
Because they actually really help me.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So today it's actually lovely and sunny, but a bit chilly in Oslo. That's where we live. My name is Prashanta, and
I'm Ramya.
Yeah, she's my daughter, and I'm the mother. Very funny. If you're my daughter, then I must be your mother, right? Okay, so what would you say is the first tip, Ramya, that's important to you?
You can start with what you've written.
Yeah, the very first one you told me was to be honest. I think I'll be doing a lot more talking this time, simply because Ramya is busy eating.
I'm almost done, yeah.
Yeah, that's one. And secondly, it's also something that I have observed through the years, and I appreciate Ramya for that, even when she was very, very young and was not feeling well. And that is being honest. Now, be honest with your feelings and how you're feeling at that point, and expressing yourself to the people who are close to you, especially. I would remember when Ramya was just around 4 or 5 years old, she would come to us and she would say something like, I'm really very irritable right now. I don't know why. Please don't bother me. And that would be enough for us as a family to understand that she's going through something, which is not necessarily something you can define,
or something you can do something about.
Yeah, or something we can really do something, but we don't need to always try and find a solution for our emotions. We discovered very early on that we've had to let Ramya go through her challenges on her own, and sometimes face these feelings and these emotions and go express them in her way. Sometimes, of course, we would also be impatient, and then we would say, Ramya, this has been going on too long. You need to tell us what's wrong and if there's anything we can do. I do remember those occasions as well. But the most important thing and the biggest relief it has been for us as a family to deal with an illness as serious as Ramya's was that being honest. being able to say that right now I'm not happy. Right now I'm exhausted of thinking and trying and figuring out and walking on a tightrope. And we as a family, all of us, do take that opportunity whenever we can to express ourselves on that issue. If we can't, I think it would have been extremely difficult to go through some of these things. What do you say, Ramya?
Yeah, that's the one thing about being honest. First of all, I think honest to yourself. Just acknowledge that you're feeling like it does suck, like having a chronic illness and getting something that is out of your control, and it kind of takes away so much of your childhood, especially if you get it as a child. So many hours at the hospital and all these things, of course you're gonna feel something. And
Friends.
and it did take some time for me to also realize that it was okay for me to feel them too. But definitely I've always like tried to be very self-reflective and really listen to how I'm feeling and try to express it as much as I could. And my tip would actually be just that: talk about it. If you don't really know what it is that you're feeling, or it's hard to put words to it, try anyways to just express it in some way. And sometimes for me, if I couldn't talk about it, I would do it through my art or through singing, or other ways. But find a way to be honest, acknowledge, and express yourself, because it's so important to find a way to just process everything. And it's not like, okay, you've processed it once and then you're over it and you'll be fine like forever. That's not how it works. You will you will feel sad a little bit, and then maybe you'll do something, you'll talk about it, have some good activity or something, and you'll feel a little bit better. And then a time will come when you will go through the same process again, and it'll happen over and over again. But you should never like beat yourself up for feeling those things, because it's so natural and it's so real and important also that we feel these lows as well as the highs.
Exactly. That actually is very, very important, what Ramya said, is to be able to feel these emotions and to be able to express them. Be honest with yourself as well. And I don't think personally that you necessarily have to define exactly what those feelings are. It helps just knowing that you are feeling something that is not the normal and that which is expected, I guess. Yeah. So we can go on for a long time about dishonesty being actually it applies to so many areas, but in relation, especially when you're dealing with a chronically ill child, it is very important even for parents, I feel, to acknowledge that they do go through moments of sadness and not understanding and fear, even anger, frustration. There's so many emotions that are negative as well, and they should be allowed to acknowledge those negative emotions. I believe that is a very important process of healing.
And in a family setting, I think, like, if you're having a bad day, it's the people who are close to you that will understand and that will be with you. And you don't have to share to the whole world and tell everybody that my life sucks right now. But you should be able to find this support group around you that is there for you.
Exactly.
And who you can really be real and raw with.
Yes.
And that's really important for me. I've always been very close to both of my parents. And I always felt like I could say anything if it was bothering me or something like that. And that was super, super important to me. Because I didn't feel like I was alone anymore.
And she isn't. We were a part of it as well. What she went through is what
and we're going through each of these things as a family. We're not just.
She's not all alone, basically, because it is our child after all, too. So, and another thing that I have struggled with, and this happens to me a lot, is overwhelm. So learning to take one day at a time.
That's tip number 2.
That's tip number 2. That is actually quite challenging, even now. There's always something happening. I never know what I'm getting up to. We get appointments suddenly because there's like a whole bunch of mail that we post that we don't even want to open because there's nothing but appointments.
I recently, like my dad brought in some posts for me, and I saw they were all from the hospital, and I just really didn't feel like opening them because I knew that they were going to be what they were going to be, and so it was like the whole week went by. And I didn't open them. And he came one evening and I was like, Ramya, you need to open these. You don't know what's inside of them. And so, I open it, and then it's, of course, what I expect is like appointments and all these phone calls that I have to make and all these arrangements that I as a patient have to do. So I often say that I'm a full-time patient. It's hard work. It's really hard work.
But for me, it becomes very overwhelming.
And I felt so overwhelmed that I like it affected me that whole evening and the next day, and like I'm still kind of affected by it. And
then we got 2 more new letters.
And we got more, and it just comes more and more and more. But then that's when we have to try to remember to take one thing at a time, do one thing at a time, prioritize what is the most important thing for me to think about right now. Not necessarily what I need to do, but what can I think about now? Because even just thinking about all these things makes me very overwhelmed. And you too, I guess.
Yeah, for me it does. And what happens to me at any rate is, and like I said, I've only recently discovered that I come out of the chronically ill category.
And you have chronic pain.
And I have chronic pain as well. It is only now that I realize that in this process of overwhelm and not being able to take one day at a time, I do postpone things that make me happy. Like, for example, I've started painting this table. This is a project I started a long time back. And I was telling Ramya that I really, really want to do this, but I am afraid to get started because we may have to go to the hospital tomorrow. Remember?
Yeah.
I said and she said, why are you waiting? Just today, we didn't get the call. So do what you want to do. That's what she said to me. Just go ahead and write if that's what you want to do. She says, I'm singing. I have my standing agreement with your teacher. Like if I go tomorrow to the hospital, I'm gone tomorrow to the hospital. And you'll know about it the day of the appointment, So it's just that taking one day at a time and still being able to do the one thing that makes you happy. And that's actually the second one.
Third tip.
The third point.
Third tip.
Third tip, you really need to, in order to be able to get control of all that overwhelm and to be able to take one day at a time, you also need to do one thing at a time. I think that's the key.
And sometimes it could be just as little as taking 1 hour at a time, or just one half an hour at a time, if that's what it takes for you to feel like okay, because you can't think further than that. You get agitated, which I've been there so many times. I can't think of the next day because it's so overwhelming and scary to me. And so then just taking 1 hour at a time and just saying, okay, I'll do this for this hour, and then okay, that hour has gone, and then I can say, okay, I'll do this for this hour, and go like that. Sometimes you need to do that, and other times maybe you'll be able to make bigger plans and do bigger things. But when you're in the midst of feeling really overwhelmed, it's so important to just remember one thing at a time. One thing at a time.
Yeah, that one thing at a time is extremely important. And I have only recently again learned. And I'm not saying that it's easy. We constantly struggle with it. Constantly. I mean, even now, I have still to complete my table and I look at it and I said, oh my God, what if they call us today and then we have to go in the middle of the night to the hospital, you know?
If you don't know what we're talking about, I'm on a kidney transplant waiting list.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're waiting for the phone call.
Yeah, so every phone call is a potential trigger.
And it's very strange because I also have like developed this strange, anxiety towards my phone. It's like every time it rings and it's an unknown number, I automatically start like getting very agitated and very anxious because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is it the kidney? And it's just, and then it's just a tinge of disappointment every time it's not, you know? And it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, but what have we decided that we were going to do? Breathe.
Exactly.
We decided that before we pick up that phone call, we're going to take a deep breath and calm ourselves down and say, whatever will be, will be. And then pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Because she has to pick up the phone no matter what it is, even if it's a salesperson, because we do not know, simply put.
We don't know. The number could be any number, so yeah. That's really important.
So it is important to continue to do things you enjoy. The one thing you enjoy doing, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And try and find something that you can take with you as well. Like in my case, it's got to do with the hospital. But in Ramya's case, it may very well be her iPad for drawing or her voice, her singing voice, you know. And her iPad has the music. But it's just a matter of finding that one thing and taking it with you. I think that's very important to keep in mind. Whatever it may be that gives you happiness, knitting,
it's
whatever.
Writing, drawing, music.
Yeah. Get your playlist ready.
Yeah.
Have it with you.
Have a good playlist for the hospital.
Yeah. Or if you're actually, you want to do something, like you want to go out for a walk and today you can't and tomorrow you can't, but maybe 3 days later you're ready to go for a walk. All you need to do is just pick up your playlist and go, for example, and put it on, listen to it, and you enjoy yourself. You got that one fun thing that you do.
There's another thing that kind of goes back into the other tip about taking one day at a time. Also, when you wake up, it's very hard to make plans as a chronically ill person anyways. We all know this. Like, you have to always pencil in your plans. You can never put it in pen and say, yeah, we're gonna do that. Like, that's not really realistic for a person, or for us. It has never been.
It is. It's not like that for every chronically ill person.
But for a lot of people it is. For chronically ill people it is, because it's so unpredictable. You don't know how your next day is gonna be like. And so when you wake up, just take that day. Like, don't think about so far in the future. Just take that day. Really feel how your body is, how well you rested, and all of these things, and then decide, okay, I'm able to do this and this and this today, and then that's it. And that also goes into like pacing yourself as a chronically ill person, which could be very difficult. It is very difficult because when you have energy, we want to do so much. We want to do everything. So yeah.
By the way, those of you who are watching, just please let us know what your tips are. How do you?
Are there anybody commenting?
No, not at the moment. No, as far as I can see. But please do let us know what your tips could be.
Can you give me those drops?
Yeah.
The Leckerol drops.
Which one?
Leckerol ones.
Where are?
They're just there.
Okay. Right. Yes. So that's the one thing. Another thing that I feel, and this is tip number 4, which I do believe it is very, very important, and this is not just for those who are chronically ill or those who are disabled, although I would say that this applies also to women, to children sometimes, uh, to those whose voices have been suppressed in one way or another. This is one of the most important things, I think, and that is don't be afraid to demand accessibility. Don't be afraid to raise your voice or raise awareness about these issues, because that, I feel, is what is the hardest, except because you're afraid of being a burden, you're afraid of being in the way, or that you're asking for special rights. You're actually not. You're asking to be treated as an equal human being. That's it. Full stop. Nothing more, nothing less. But it is the hardest. That comes with a lot of maturity. It comes with having to practice this again and again and again. And Ramya can tell herself, because this is something that we still struggle with regarding Ramya. Although she has an organization that's working towards increasing awareness about disabled and chronically ill community and their contributions, I still find that she would get up in the morning and she would still say at some times or another that, you know what, I'm so sorry for being a burden.
Start apologizing.
Yeah, she starts apologizing without realizing that she has every right to demand that attention, because it's a life and death matter often. It has to do with accessibility, being able to be free to do the things that you love, going back to that point 3. So I personally feel, don't be afraid. That is a big tip, and it is the hardest, I know, but that is the one that you need to follow, in my opinion.
And I guess it kind of starts with what kind of self-talk you have. What do you say to yourself every day? And what do you think about yourself when you ask for this help, or you want to ask for help, or you need something? Like, what is it that goes through your mind? And first be aware of that, and then maybe you can change that sentence a little bit. Like, for example, I'm a burden. Is often a lot of us feel like that. And instead of saying that, you could say, let me think here.
You can just do the honest thing. Go to tip number 1. Be honest and just simply say that today I'm feeling crappy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably the reason why you feel like you're a burden. Or,
Yeah, so, but just like asking for help often is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But all you're asking, like my mom said, is just to be treated like a normal human being. It's not like you're asking for the whole world. And in fact, if you get that accommodation, if you get that accessibility that you need, who knows how much you can give to the world, how much you have to offer. And people won't get that if you don't get that accessibility, and if you don't demand it. Because sometimes you need to demand it to get it. And that's when you get to shine and really be a human,
participating member of the community.
Participating member of the community, of society.
Yeah. And what about, like, even for others it can benefit,
Any comments?
Yes, Shivani, and first Mahalakshmi from Bangalore. Now she's in Berlin, by the way. She said that one day at a time is very good, and someone else wrote, Nina, wrote that it's very wise words here and advice. And Shivani wrote, very true. The braveness, resilience you and Ramya show is worth learning from. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So that's, I think that I would, although there's a lot we could say, that's a topic in itself, I believe.
Definitely.
Definitely we need to
We
talk
have to
much
make a
more.
separate video about that.
Still, and so this I would say is one of the most important points
Yeah.
for
Demand,
me.
and don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say I can't do something, or when people kind of want to pressure you into, oh, you can't do that, oh, but we made these plans, and oh, you can't, but you were able to do that, why can't you do this? You are the one who knows your body, and nobody else has the right to decide that, like what you can
including
and can't do.
Me.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
And often it's people who love you and really want you to feel well and to be active and do the things that you love. That's often what I feel, at least with my parents, when they do that to me. I often know that it's because they just so badly want me to be okay and be well. So just remember that, but also don't be afraid to say, you know what, actually you're not in my body, so you don't know how I'm feeling. I remember I actually told my dad this once, because he was really expecting me to do a lot, and it was only because he wanted to encourage me and inspire me, but it went over a level that I could take, and so I needed to just put my foot down and say, you know what, I can't do this. This is too much. I've done a good job already. I'm proud of myself, and that's it.
A very beautiful question from Nina is, klarer du å finne noe og glede deg til hverdagen? Do you manage to find something to be happy about every day?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I do. I have my art, I have my music, and that goes back to the tip number 3.
5, even?
No, number 3.
Yeah.
About finding something that you love.
Yeah.
And that is what has actually helped me. That is actually what has helped me get through a lot of the things, is that I have my art and I have my crafts and all these like things that I can express myself through. And so definitely there are periods where it's really difficult, and then I just need to sit down with whatever I'm feeling and just let it be that way. And then most of the days I'm able to find some joy in just making my bracelets, or drawing, or singing, or any kind of creativity stuff, anything like that, and it kind of takes me away from my body in a way where it doesn't really matter if I'm having pain. It doesn't matter if I don't have energy. None of those things matter. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she's very good with that. I think I have a lot to learn from Ramya on that aspect, I feel.
I guess maybe we can make another video about this too, but kind of goes into this too, about like meditation and yoga and stuff. I found has been very helpful, especially to kind of come to terms with my own body, because a lot of the times you can get kind of angry with your body, like it's not doing what you want it to do, and you can get really frustrated. And so I found that working with yoga, especially just doing the breath work, because it's an angle of spirituality while moving your body, it really helps a lot. And then meditation also helps a lot, because like I said, while doing creative stuff and whatever, I get into the zone where literally nothing matters except for my breath. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm tired, it doesn't matter if I have pain, it doesn't matter, like nothing matters. It doesn't matter how I look, like nothing of that like physical stuff matters, because all I need to meditate is just my breath, and that's it. And it's just nothing, and it's very freeing to have that experience. So definitely another like tip that I'm pushing in here, tipping in here, but I definitely think we should make another video about this, about body and like
how we
how we
yes
cope with that kind of stuff, because it's definitely a big topic.
there are many tips. We just chose the first that are relevant for
We'll
us at this
definitely
point in
make
time.
another video.
On other more tips, but this is just like the first top 5 we thought right now is what's keeping us going actually.
So we'll move to the 5th.
And the 5th and the last tip is celebrate.
Celebrate life.
Celebrate life.
Celebrate everything. Celebrate the smallest little joys.
Could tell about, we always celebrate Ramya's half-year birthday because it happened to come on 3rd of June and her dad's birthday is on 3rd of December. So we kind of like always celebrate the 3rd of December as Ramya's half birthday. And it has...
Because my actual birthday is 3rd of June,
So this just kind of like, again, it's reminding ourselves that we are so grateful that she's made it for another 6 months. And it's a time for us to always review all the things that we've achieved in this time period, all the things that have happened, the good and the bad, but try and focus as much as possible on the good things, because the bad things we always remember. I think very rarely do people forget about the bad things that have happened, but definitely the good things are the ones that we tend to forget, So we do spend a lot of our time during this, especially celebrating Ramya's half birthday, for example. We celebrate the fact that, for example, her weight has gone down because of the dialysis by 100
milliliters.
100 milliliters. Yay, it's time for celebration. Or that she's managed to stick to 1.2 liters of drinking water in the whole day. We celebrate anything and everything.
Or that our meal was good. Tasted good that day.
Yeah, that the food she loved, enjoyed the food.
I was able to eat it without feeling nauseous.
Yeah.
Like, so many things, really. Yeah. Or just being able to walk outside for 2 minutes, get some fresh air, and come back in again.
Yeah.
That's something to celebrate.
Yeah.
And I remember also when I was younger, I often felt really sad because I didn't feel like I was able to do as much as all the other kids. I wasn't able to play like everybody else. I wasn't able to I was just so different, and I was just seen as this weak girl that just couldn't do anything. And so my mom, gave me this notebook, and she told me to write down 5 things every day that I had achieved that day. And it was like really small things, like just, I made tea for everybody. Or I ate up my food really fast because I was a really slow eater when I was small. And it could be I finished my homework, or maybe not all of my homework, but I finished an assignment, and that has really stuck with me. That exercise, I did it for a long time, then I took a break from it, and then when I had a very difficult period, I started doing it again. And then I kind of modified it a little bit by saying not only my small achievements, but also just anything that sparked joy for me that day. Just anything that made me smile, anything that made me happy. Like the taxi driver was really nice to me, or or my doctor really heard me today, understood what I was trying to explain. Those kind of things also I would write down, because it really, really, really helped me to take the focus off of things that I can't do and onto the things that I can do, and the things that the beautiful things in life. And sometimes, yes, you need those times to just sit and feel, okay, I don't feel very good right now, and that's okay. And then when you're able to feel good about something, then really cherish that feeling. Like really, that's what I try to do. At least I always hold on to that feeling as long as possible. if something made me happy, I'll like think about it and be like, oh, I feel good about that. Like that was so nice. I will try to like really cherish it and make it last inside of me, because it makes me actually physically feel lighter
Yeah.
and nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it has also become much more important, especially during this pandemic time, where we do actually celebrate a lot more and find a lot more joy in the little everyday things that we do. It's not always easy, and I remember there was a period in time when Ramya was so weak that she could not even hold a pen or write, so that was
No.
out of the question. But then we ended, and she said that she couldn't even see what she wrote. Her eyesight was getting worse. It's probably worse now.
Now I can't do that
She can't do
anymore.
it anymore. So what did we do? You know, we still did it. You said one
I
thing,
did
one
no, no.
word, in fact.
I did one work, but I also
Yeah.
did. I downloaded a few apps, and I also did record myself. I just recorded and spoke about, okay, this is how I feel and this is what happened today and
Mm.
all this stuff. And I would also um, like take voice memos.
Yeah.
If that was all I was able to do, then yeah, that's what I did.
Mm. Yeah.
Or I even had this really nice app where you could take voice memos
Yeah.
and also have photos, and you could write or edit the photo, whatever you wanted to do,
Mm.
and it would be like a diary thing. And that was also really, really nice. And you could add as many of those voice memos as you wanted on the same
Oh, I
same
didn't know
thing.
that. I should check it
Yeah,
out.
I did it every
Mm.
night, and I had one picture for that day, and I would write something on that picture and like edit it and put like flowers and draw on it and make it really nice.
How nice.
So
So cool.
yeah.
Well, I have to find that one now.
Yeah,
I've learned
I
something
can't
new.
remember the name of this app, but
It's,
if I do, then I will
yeah,
let
just
you
let you
know.
know. Yeah,
I'll
because
link it also in the YouTube, like
yeah,
down in the
please.
description.
Yeah, it would be awesome. But you know, we've been talking for over 40 minutes now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a long time. And so thank you for those of you who followed us from the beginning and listened to us. And I'm going to wrap it up now, I think.
Yeah.
But
If there's anybody who
yeah,
wants
but
to
any
say
questions?
something,
If you have any questions, you want to say something, please do. We'd love to know what you think, and if you have any more tips than what we have, we're definitely going to come up with a lot more tips.
there's
than
so
this
many
list.
more tips we could
Yeah.
have talked about.
The aim of this entire channel, no matter what it is at the end of the day, is to say that I guess all hope is not lost, but life is not just to survive and get through the day, but it's actually to thrive in it, to enjoy these moments, regardless of whether you're ill or not, because you know your body is waking you up and you are able to get up in the morning and you're able to go through a whole day of doing amazing things and go to sleep at night. And that I think somehow we need to be grateful for that, and we need to acknowledge that on a regular everyday basis, especially if you're chronically ill, because we tend to spend so much of our time, we think we do spend a lot of our times about, oh, this is hurting, or I have to watch my diet because I'm a diabetic, and I forgot my insulin, I forgot my medicines, I can't just eat an impulse cake. You know, like it goes on and on and on. The list of all the don'ts is so long.
Don'ts and can'ts.
Yeah, don'ts and can'ts, exactly. And shouldn'ts and must, actually, also. And if you look away from all of that, still you have done something amazing. Your body has done something amazing. It made you go through one full day. It has made you find that one thing that you can enjoy that particular day, whether it is completing a bracelet in your case, because that's all you're able to do right now, or whether it, for me, is cooking an amazing meal for my family, or finishing my artwork that I've started like 2 years ago, and I finally decided what I wanted to do with that blank canvas. All of these things, all of them, they are a part, and then comes, so I love it when Ramya said one thing is that she didn't say what life throws at her, she says what life has given her. And I think that's, I love that focus, because we are receiving, we are getting a lot from life, we are getting a lot more than we realize on our everyday. And this is what this channel is about. It's to make us aware of that, of the beauty of it all, and I hope we don't sound like we're over optimistic. We're not. We know that it's hard. We know that it's difficult, and it's not a thing that we're constantly at this high level. We do have our downs. We have our fears. We have our doubts.
And I think I like to be pretty honest. Also, I've been live a lot of the times when I feel like really sick or
very ill,
all these kind of stuff.
Even I have done that.
I think it's important for us to just show that it's normal, like it's
we're
life.
We're not just to inspire, we are also actually human beings, and we do go through all of these. But these tips that we've given now, these are things that we also work towards every single day. It doesn't happen automatically. It's not like I can get up in the morning and this is exactly, I'm going to enjoy myself
and
today.
Also, I'm going to repeat what I said also in the beginning. Like, we could say that, we have processed certain things or whatever, but it's not done. We're not done yet. Like, it keeps reoccurring. It keeps having, having an impact. Like, for me, I can be pretty honest. I've now had a lot of memories and like flashbacks and nightmares actually about my hand, which is like, okay, it happened like in 2012. Aren't you over it? But that's not how it works. Like, it's there, and sometimes you're able to live your life without it taking over, and then sometimes it has to be addressed, and it won't just happen once and then you're fine. It will come again, and it's okay. Don't be afraid of it also, because it can feel like it's scary, but it's all a part of life. Up and down is all a part of life. If we don't have negatives, we wouldn't have the positives. So
we won't know how to appreciate it.
And we wouldn't know how to be happy if we didn't know how to be sad.
So on that note,
if anybody else has anything to say,
just say it now. Last chance, and that's one. And two, just like to say that please, if you do like it, share, and you think that what we've given now is of value to someone else, maybe not necessarily for you, but someone else who may be going through something similar to us, what we are going through, do share it with them and let them connect with us. We are very open. We would love to hear from others. Also their ideas, not just we dishing out a whole bunch of advice here, but we'd love to also receive and learn from others. So please do pass it around. You know what goes around
share
comes around.
it.
It's a good thing.
Share it,
Like
and also
it,
just reminding you that we're posting this on YouTube as well.
So
please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called, again, Different Shades of the Norm.
I'll put it down in when we're sharing this one on the Facebook. I'll put it there, and after I've posted it,
put the link. You can pin a comment in here.
Okay, later.
Okay.
I have no idea how to do this now. Okay. So take care. Have a wonderful day or night or morning or whatever it is at any given, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for those of you who've been following us.
Thanks so much.
Very
grateful for all the support and all everything.
And yes, Nina, they are so sant. It's so true. We also need constant reminding of the good things in life, Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I know, but still, it always feels good to know that somebody has seen it and has recognized it and are willing to share their wisdom with us. So thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Sending all of my love.
Yeah, and peace.
Bye.
Bye. You have to do what you have to do.